Hello, everyone, and welcome to Harvest Time demonstration, where we're going to have a look at handmade vegetables. These vegetables can be used for either home decor or wearables. Personally, I did a bit of both. I did some pumpkins as a home decor, but these vegetables mainly I did as brooches, corsages. I personally think they would look also very nice come spring, summer as some straw hat trims, especially things like green, garden peas, or I don't know, a little carrot or a little chili or a combination. You can also throw in some, cottage style flowers, something like maybe a bit of lavender stems there, or some nasturtiums, or maybe some daisies, marigolds, something simple, not perhaps roses, but some flowers that easily go, with the vegetables and can grow on the vegetable patch next to the vegetables. We have done sunflowers. You know how to make sunflowers. We have already covered marigolds as well. So most of these flowers we already know how to make, and so you can combine them as well for a kind of a more complex piece or maybe hat trim. So I think particularly some straw bergère hat would probably look quite cute with some of these. Also, obviously, you can make them into pins. The task for me was to make sure that they're wearable, so I had to perhaps go, find a solution how to make them less 3D, at least on one side, where we would be pinning them, to our garment. So I'll show you a couple of ways how to work around that. Some of these pieces can be just made normally without changing the shape and be worn still. So I've made a little chili pepper just now. So this one is a full complete round chili pepper, but because it's such a slim shape, it's not bulky, and I would add perhaps another one and some more leaves for a finished piece. So this can be cute and worn again on a country style jacket. I have a jacket which I bought in Scotland, a very woolen type of jacket, and that works really quite well. And also with utility jackets, it will work nicely. I just didn't have one. But first I saw these vegetables, actually. The inspiration came from Ralph Lauren collection several years ago, and there was some kind of utility jacket a model wore with some vegetables pinned to it. But believe me, our vegetables are going to be much more interesting than those. She actually had a bunch of different things, like a small beetroot, something else, and some flowers too. So I did really like the idea, and then out of that idea, all of this grew. So as you see, this is leather, and what makes them even more interesting is that you can throw in a bit of leaves, you can put a little flower or not, add more interest, tendrils where they are available. So there's a lot of different elements we can add, and in most cases they're actually quite simplistic. Like this little 5-petal flower is not difficult to make, but it does add immediately more interest to your piece. I did have to go to a grocery shop several times to get my samples because I wanted to, look better. I had to steal some leaves from some garden to make templates for you because, getting parsnip leaves is not very easy these days. I have some little shriveled parsnip still waiting its turn here, and I have a really very nice, suitable color of velvet for it waiting. I even have a little green spring onion. I dyed the fabric. I didn't have time to do it, but there's many more options you can try. I have a whole book here. I wanted to, take a little video to show you like what other vegetables there are. Even in terms of root vegetables, we have turnips, and swedes and all sorts. You can make a golden beetroot. You can make obviously normal color beetroot, the traditional. Some velvets that I used, I just liked the color of them, and I didn't do anything. I didn't dye it. So like this rich carrot orange, or this kind of wine colored silk and viscose velvet. So if you want to dye, you can dye, especially if the piece calls for like a gradation of colors. So for example, this French reddish, it is traditionally pink into white, so you won't be able to find a fabric like this, and it's better to dye to convey this this color gradation in your piece if you want to make. This little round reddish, I had this color velvet already, although it's not perhaps, really strictly speaking, the redishes don't maybe come in such vibrant pink, but it actually looks very cute, and I've been wearing it and really enjoying it. So I think it's quite a nice little pin. Especially velvet does add a bit more richness and kind of elevates the whole piece. The leaves, again, if you have the right color fabric, just use it. I hand dyed in many cases. I want to show today some way of making like a fleshy leaves, because this is what most of these vegetables have. We didn't do it like this. Let me just admit somebody. So I tried several techniques there. Also, in some vegetables, in at least in English supermarkets, you sometimes see, so the beetroot won't have leaves, maybe any or a couple only, but there'll be kind of like short stems sticking out of the beetroot. So that's what I was trying to also convey with my pieces. This carrot has golden leaves, so I was also contemplating, I haven't done it, but what you can do is you can embroider little markings, like you have on a real carrot, with, for example, golden thread, to make it all in the same color style. So golden and orange. Tanya, hello. Welcome to the demonstration. So again, you can make just green leaves here as a more realistic carrot. Carrots also come in other colors. Orange is a typical one, but there are yellow carrots, there are purple carrots. So you can consider doing other colors too. Then I did really want to make a pea brooch, because some vegetables, there's many vegetables, but some of them are kind of more recognizable and more popular. Let's say like a chili, or like sweet peas or garden peas. So maybe beetroot is questionable, but some of these hopefully you would want to make. So again, in this brooch, I actually added quite a lot of leaves, and I added a little flower. Tendrils were quite nice. So it is like a whole plant here. But I just, decided to make this one like this. You can trim them smaller. You can make like just a small branch with several leaves and a pea pod. You don't have to add the flower, but if you want to go into town, you can do more. So that's an option as well. Here I also have strawberries. I mean, we're not covering the strawberries today, but this is another one that you can make. I already have a tutorial on that. That also has a velvet fruit here, and they work also quite nice, and can be an interesting addition. Again, you can maybe make a couple of wild little strawberries, like alpine strawberries, and throw them together with some of these vegetables into a more complex brooch if you want. Perhaps you have some friends who like particular vegetables, then you can give them a little present for Christmas. Make it by with your own hands, and that can be a nice little piece. Right, okay, so what we can do is we can start looking at how to make them. So I want to kind of divide this into three parts, so to say. So some slimmer type of vegetables, so they're done in one way, and then slightly bulkier, so slightly different idea, and then also a pea pod as well. If you want to know how to make flowers, for example, sweet pea flower, which is the same as a garden pea, we've already covered in other tutorials. So I will be doing a template on probably all the leaves that we're going to be using here. So the leaves you will find, in case if you don't know how to make some flowers yet, then perhaps I should refer you to the tutorial that is already there. But again, as I said, you don't really have to add flowers if you don't want to. Right, so let's move on to making. Let me just change my camera. I want to show you again these pieces. Some of them actually already got sold. So there you go. You want to use this velvet for making the parsnip, so that's hopefully is going to happen. And what else did I had a whole list of things that I wanted to make, but I was so busy. I just tried to do at least something. So, okay, so first we'll start with the slimmer vegetables that are made easier, like these three. And you can either have them completely round, like this chili. So I didn't do anything with the shape. I just made it as it should be. Whereas with the carrots, it's a little bit flatter at the back. So kind of, you see this shape. So like a 3/4. And the French radish is probably more like a half, or maybe also 3/4. So in some of the vegetables, I did this kind of finish. I'm going to try and show it today as well. But we're going to talk more about it in the next month. We're going to make a kind of evening style Christmassy flower, where we're going to do like a stylized flower brooch with some new elements.